on Conversations with Ladies Who Launch. Today I have the beautiful Karen McDermott. Karen is a publisher, author and speaker, and I'm so happy and grateful to have her here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Is my absolute pleasure, Anthea. Honestly, I was like looking forward to this chat. I was like, yeah, a nice casual conversation just to see what happens and what we get to chat on is beautiful.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I've had several people ask for me to interview you, so I can't wait to hear more about the behind the scenes of your business. So,
Sorry.
you're right. First question. I would love for you to introduce yourself the way you would love to hear your clients talking about you.
Oh, that's good. So let me see. So Karen McDermott, the person who helps us make magic happen. There you go.
I
Simple as.
love that. So simple. So simple. And so I know that you've been in business for many years. Can you tell us a little bit about your first launch and what that looked like? You may not have even called it a launch. That's the thing that I'm finding out about chatting to women in business of all different stages of business is most of the time people didn't call it a launch in the beginning.
It wasn't a launch 9 years ago. It
Yeah.
wasn't a launch. It was just an idea that I had put myself behind, I suppose, and was really passionate about. So I was just seeing where it was going. And so I set an intention, put it out there into the world, and launched Serenity Press. It was Inner Light Publishing initially, and then we evolved into Serenity Press. So yeah, it's so it's cool. But yeah, we just got all of the everything, because we set up the print and distribution channel. We got some authors on board. We launched our first book, I suppose. That's what we did. We launched our
Yeah.
first, and it was actually the first book was for an African guy who had an amazing story because he had been adopted as a child. It's called Prickle in a Dream. God, it seems like a lifetime ago. It's called Prickle in a Dream. We supported his charity as well. We sent over big boxes of Christmas gifts for the charity for all the kids, and he set up his own orphanage. So it's a fascinating story, heartbreaking but fascinating, but still filled with so much hope. So that was our how we launched, I suppose, my own publishing press was with that.
That is amazing. And I'm going to have to write that one down because I would love to read that book. That sounds amazing. And so, how did that first launch go? So, I'm kind of looking for what did launches look like then, and then we'll go to what does launching look like for you now?
Well, starting up your own publishing press, and when your studies are in humanities, not in publishing, you're learning a lot. So, and there was no Canva graphics back then either, so it wasn't as easy to put things together. But we just got talking about it, so it was word of mouth really, and just Facebook. Facebook is where I've grown my brand on primarily. So and continue to. That's where I show up authentically. I still, on Instagram. I like LinkedIn now. I didn't like it at the beginning because it's more personable now. And yeah, and Twitter, yeah, I don't go there so much, but we did at the beginning. We went to Twitter and had conversations with people and tagged people into it. So I'm not saying we had an international bestseller on our hands, but it was a nice way to launch and start to get in a bit of momentum for publishing books that deserve to be published, that may not have otherwise been published had I not chosen to take them on.
Yeah, cool. And so, how has launching evolved for you over time? Like, what does launching look like for you now?
Launching is like a 6 month strategy. We have like production schedules, we have books go out in arcs, there's dates, and we're working with a lot with authors who have big audiences, like in Serenity Press we have the Duchess of York, who's one of our authors, so we have to really, really hone into and really work along with schedules and things like that and pin in dates and stuff. And when you're working with distributors, there's so many different things to take into account. But I don't do it on my own anymore. We have a team who does that for me. So I
Oh,
guess it's
thank goodness.
my genius zone of having conversations with people and going on the journey with authors. So that's me.
Yeah, beautiful. And so when you look back through the history of your business and through the history of launching in your business, can you think of a time, it doesn't have to be the whole launch, but like when things felt easy, and what did that look like? What was what was the kind of thing that made things feel easy?
Well, you get into a rhythm, and when you find your own rhythm, it just things just flow, and it's beautiful. And then you can start, growing and probably working on things more than working in them. It's a big,
Yeah.
big difference. But with launching as we progress, and like we're always evolving whenever it comes to launches. And I now have three publishing presses. I don't just have one. So we've launched KMD Books really last year, and it's really took off. And we have some amazing authors in there. So launching has become more widespread because we have a bigger audience and we have more of an impact. But we still show up, and it's all about word of mouth, and show up authentically, and it's all about the story. So there's still the same essence, if you want to call it that, that what we started with like 9 years ago to what we're doing now. It's still all about the story
Yeah.
behind the books, but to just showcase the books, make them more visible. So we have more outlets, I suppose, to get things shown on.
Yeah, 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 beautiful. And when you talk about a rhythm, do you think it's like coming up with a replicable process that then you use time and time again? Is that what you're talking about when you talk about rhythm?
With rhythm in all aspects of my businesses, it is that we get inspired by what works for others, and we take the essence of that and what we connect with, and then put our own spin to it. So I like to be innovative as well in how I think. And I always am that outside of the box thinker. I always think of, I don't want to queue up with everybody. I'd like to go around the back door and get a VIP pass invitation. So that's what I usually do for a bigger impact. So that's that's kind of, I suppose, my little secret recipe to success is to do that, to show up as yourself, connect with people, and have the courage to ask, so that
Oh,
you have a bigger impact.
yeah, I love that. Okay, cool. So now I'm looking for a time when things felt really challenging, and what did that kind of look like, and what do you think it was that got you through?
I don't know if you're going to like my answer to this. I love challenges,
Oh,
Anthea.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and the reason why I love challenges is because I know I'm growing. When I face a challenge is an opportunity for me to step up, to align with the intentions that I set, because I set big, fat intentions. So when I meet a challenge, I know that I'm going to learn something new, evolve into it, and I'm getting closer to what I need to be, so that when if I have a big goal, that it's just the next step. It just feels so natural, and that's just, yeah, it's just how I roll.
I
And I've been doing this a long time, so.
You were totally wrong. I love that answer. Because I think sometimes women in business, they get caught up in going for this high vibe, easy path all of the time. And I love some of me that, like I totally love some, but I think it's a beautiful and where if we can learn to kind of embrace the resistance, then it's
Well,
not it's not quite as shocking when it comes up, you know?
it's okay if you just want to stay where you are and stagnant, but if you're in business, you're going to want to grow. And with growth comes self-development. With growth comes a discomfort. So you got to accept that pretty early on. Like every time I'm evolving, I go through the discomfort. It's like a pit in the stomach. Oh my God, why am I doing this to myself? Da, 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 da. I go through that. Everybody does, because there's always the struggle before the breakthrough. But as the more and more you keep doing it, and the more breakthroughs you keep having in your business, you just kind of go, you get excited when the struggle comes, because you're going, oh, it's nearly here, it's coming. Once I get through this struggle, the breakthrough's there to be had. And it becomes really exciting to identify it and know what's happening. I think that knowledge is really key to success, because it changes your perspective and your mindset around it.
Yes.
So
And this is exactly why I want to have these conversations with women in business, because I think sometimes we can create stories in our mind that people really do it easily and they don't have any challenges and it just happened to them overnight, when I like to kind of draw back the curtain and get juicy behind the scenes on what it actually looks like.
goodness. Well, I love it. And it's so important. You have to keep it real. There's days where you'll not see me online because I have closed over my to-do list. I'm a bit overwhelmed and I've gone to the beach so I can, that's it. Or just hanging out watching movies, or binging on Netflix or something, just to get my brain just to switch off and blah. But I'm pretty lucky that I can switch off between things.
Yeah.
But when you do that, when you step back in those moments of overwhelm, it gives you clarity. So you see things more clearer then whenever you come back to it. But you have more of you're ready, because you could be ready to give up 1 minute, but don't give up. Just take some time out, recalibrate, and come back with a totally different, refreshed mindset, excited to get stuck into it. And you'll see a solution to whatever the problem is. It's coming.
Yeah, I love that. Don't make any big decisions when you're in that overwhelm. Get out of the overwhelm, get some perspective, and then go again. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, cool. So, what do you reckon, like for all your launches, for all your business, what do you reckon have been the key supports for you along the way?
Oh, absolutely, community and your readers. So nurturing that really and truly, because your database, it's not out of fashion. Your database is your family when it comes to launching, because they'll get talking, and that's the thing. Yes, you can do all the ads in the world, but and that's wonderful, and that's visibility, and you can appear in lots of things, and that's wonderful, and build your brand. But you need to build your brand up, whether it's your business brand or your personal brand, so that when you are launching something, it has more of a ripple effect. And it's the ripple effect that you want, because behind every one person that you impact, if you impact them in the right way, especially in a heart-centered way, they're going to talk about it, you know.
Mhm.
You want to if you want to have like a national launch, make your launch media worthy, so that you get some media and things like that. So, we've had some really good media recently, for some of our book launches, but it's because we have been strategic and tied it in with things so that it was media worthy,
Yeah.
um, so it's about, thinking outside of the box. I can't say that enough. Like, I'm where I am in business, and I thought it would have took me 25 years to get to where I am, and it only took me 8.
Mm,
It's like, I
that's
still
huge.
have, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
extra years in my life that I can enjoy now and not just strive to build something. I enjoy building. I
Yeah.
enjoy building. And so when I reach my goals, I just increase the goals because once I'm enjoying it and I prioritize happiness so much,
Mm,
you are going to have the struggles, but you're always going to have the purpose behind them. And when you do that, it keeps you driven and moving forward. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, then it's going to be a bigger struggle, because it's going to feel like a chore. Whereas I don't feel like I work a day in my life, even though I put in the hours. They don't. I'm not. It's not painful in any way. I just enjoy it and love what I do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And the challenge is so worth it if you're like on a mission. On a mission. Cool. So whilst I have you here, are there any people that you would like me to interview?
Mm.
Or are there any particular questions that you want me to start asking people about the behind the scenes in their business?
Oh, I love it. Well, I suppose, where did they get started? What was that moment that made them choose this? You know, also, Peace Mitchell. Have you had her on yet?
I have not had Peace Mitchell, but that is a great idea. Peace is one of the owners of Osmum. How do you say it?
Women's business school now, but it's also Osmompreneur.
Yeah, I will totally hit her up. That is a great idea.
She's amazing. And
Yeah,
we have a book coming out together, because I'm her publisher. So
yeah.
we have a book coming out together, The Women Who Will Change the World. So can you imagine? And that's the call I just had before this. All the authors got together. It was amazing. So
Oh,
yeah, you can feel
super.
the energy of it.
Yeah, yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And so now that you've given me the idea for this question, where did you get started? Like, let's go backwards. What was the thing that made you start your business?
Oh, it's a bit of a emotional kind of story, but I'll give it to you briefly.
Yeah.
But I moved to Australia in 2008, and before I moved to Australia, I had had a miscarriage between my boys and girls. I'm a mom of 6, Anthony. I don't know if you knew that, right? So I've got 2 boys, right? And then I got pregnant with twins, and I lost them at 11 weeks. But
Mm.
I really wanted them so much, and the whole miscarriage thing really deeply affected me. But I was blessed enough to get pregnant the next month. I don't know how, but I did. And I had my rainbow baby. So, and then we moved to Australia, and I moved to Australia 35 weeks pregnant with her. I waddled my way here. And we then, went on to have 3 more beautiful girls, right? But when I just had my fourth child, um, I had this epiphany. I was watching The View, and Whoopi Goldberg was on The View, and I never watched daytime TV because ABC Kids was always on, but this was on this time, and Whoopi Goldberg was talking to this celebrity TV, reality TV couple who were on, and they had had a miscarriage. On one of the things that it was, she had a miscarriage, and it was all public, and everyone knew about it because it was on the show. Well, Whoopi Gold, the woman was obviously still distraught, and I could connect because I never got the reason my heart longed for as to why it happened to me, and because I was so healthy and whatever. And
Mm.
then Whoopi Goldberg turned around to her, back to the camera, and she said to this woman, she said, "I'm going to tell you something I tell all of my friends when this happens. This is a visitor that came to tell you to get back onto the right track in life, and then your gift will come." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's why." Because when I had my miscarriage, I had just been through 14 months of PTSD, and it was the miscarriage that woke me back up to feeling again and everything. So it had been a really big catalyst in my life to get me back on track. And once those words came out of her mouth, and I was writing for a website called Building Beautiful Bonds at the time, and as their organic writer, but a blog just wasn't going to do it. So it was 2 days before NaNoWriMo was starting, which is novel writing month. And I just put together a few characters and just got writing when the challenge started to write a 50,000 word novel. And I wrote a fictional novel with that story about the visitor. And this all entwined. And the visitor comes and visits 5 women, and my story's in there as one of the women. But it was just meant to be. But that book then was self-published, and it was a negative self-publishing experience. But at the beginning of the book was this quote that I wrote that was, "From every negative situation is the potential for a positive outcome." And so I went and researched who the print and distribution channel were. They opened up an office in Australia that very month. I applied to become a publisher, and so I did get, you know, accepted as a publisher. I would help stories be told in a positive way. So that's what I've been doing ever since the mission of that and helping stories be told.
Oh, wow, what a journey.
Yeah, so that's how I got started. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, my final question. Thank you so much for sharing all of this juicy goodness. My final question is, do you have any free or paid offers that you would like to share? And please don't feel free. I mean, please don't feel that you need to keep it to one or two, because I'd love to give our listeners like a bit of a like couple of books to read. What have you got going on at the moment?
Fun, but all so wonderful. My Alchemy of Life magic books, because everyone says, "How do you do it, Karen? You built up this really successful press. Your hands-on mom of six. Like I always bring my kids to school, pick them up, all of this kind of stuff. But it's because that's aligned with my values. So I have a Life Magic Mastery group where I share all my tips and tricks, and it's actually a free Facebook group. So come and join me there if you want to. And we do a daily gratitude in there and things like that. It's kind of been merging into business for me personally as well, because I've been asked to speak about the power of knowing a lot in the business arena, about how to make decisions with unwavering, with unwavering faith, and not swaying on things and things like that. So it's really interesting. And yeah, we've got serenitypress.org. You can come and visit us there. We are getting a new website, but come and visit us there. KMD Books and MMH Press, all amazing authors with amazing books for everyone in your family, whether you like reading fiction, children's books, or self-help. This KMD Books is with thought leaders and innovators and business owners. So it's amazing, and the other side.
Oh, amazing. And you've got a new podcast coming out. What's it called again?
Yes, new podcast is coming out. It's called The Power of Story with Karen McDermott. It's currently live on Spotify and all of those and Apple.
Yeah. Amazing. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing. And if you would like to, if it's okay, can you send me a couple of links after this, and I'll add it to the video so that anyone who catches us can go and check all of those beautiful resources out.
I'd love to give you my first book in the series of The Alchemy of Life Magic, The Magic of Mindfulness. I'd love to gift you that. You gift your viewers that for free. So I'll send you over a link to a flip book so that you can just read it.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for the conversation.
Oh, so welcome. And it's been so good to, chat and get the behind the scenes on your business. And I can't wait to go and check some more beautiful magic out from you. So thank you so much and goodbye, Karen.
My pleasure. Bye, everyone.